Well, thank you for the hearts. I love them. Last week was my son's birthday, and so we were celebrating. He had a few days off, and so I took off with to be with him and my daughter. We just spent it together all those days. Um, but then when he went back to work at the end of the week last week, and I found it really hard to re-engage because I also took that time to take a break from I don't know if dysfunction is a descriptive enough word to the dumpster fire that is now America. Dystopia is probably closer to the word of what we're going through. Um, but I just found myself at the end of last week after celebrating and just being in a lot of joy with my son and my daughter, reading about the horrific crimes that these billionaires have committed with complete impunity because of their billionaire status. And still nothing is being done. It was really hard to re-engage. And so what I ended up having to do was just gradually start reading the information again and getting back involved. And it's taken me like about 4 days, honestly. So like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then today. And Monday, sorry. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And then like I feel fully back engaged in the muck. And I think there's a lot of value to being re-engaged in the muck, or I wouldn't do it. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Jennifer. Yep. Hate and evil. I mean, I kind of stay away from the word evil because it has so much baggage that's religious, and I don't want to get into the religious overtones of what's going on because there's so many white Christian nationals that's using religion um inappropriately. Like we saw it on full display in the Super Bowl. I mean, it's crazy that a religious organization would do a second Super Bowl with a lead. I mean, calling Kid Rock a star is a big stretch, but with the lead act, let's say, that's a better way to put it. The lead act being Kid Rock, who has songs about pedophilia. That, I mean, they could have gotten anyone else to be a lead act, which I doubt probably anyone else wanted to, but, um, Kid Rock is like what, a D minus musician, even at his high point. And so this was like a grand opportunity for him. But he's a pedophile. His songs, he's got a song all about pedophilia. And so for a Christian organization to endorse that, that's why I get away from that word evil. Thank you, Jennifer. That's why I get away from that word evil because they use the word evil and they're endorsing pedophilia, right? That's the thing about these white Christian nationals like Turning Point, like Erica Kirk, like her dead husband, Charlie Kirk. I don't agree with the way, I did not want him to get murdered like that at all. And I do believe it was a setup that was internal to the MAGA organization, whether it was from Trump or from Erica or from Turning Point. Like I've heard all the theories. I do think they all have a little piece of truth to them. And then when you put them all together, you get the truth, the whole picture. Um, I mean, I totally think it was a setup. on their side, um, because he had had a change of heart about the Epstein files, and he was getting very vocal about, "Hey, you stop hiding them." And that was bad for business. I do think Charlie Kirk hurt a lot of people, and I think he was a poster child for hate, and I think the world is a better place without him, but I would never have said, "Oh, yeah, he needs to be taken out." Um, I just think what needed to really happen is don't give him a platform, right? Just remove him from the narrative. That's what that's the power for me that I see that we have collectively, and that that's how we handle MAGA. Because we've seen lots of posts, right, about, oh, MAGA's having a meltdown over Bad Bunny. Who cares? Once they have a meltdown, whoever's having a meltdown, just there's no reason to even talk to them, or give them reasons why their meltdown is full of hate and inexcusable and does not represent the American people. There's no discussion that needs to happen. All that needs to happen is, oh, XYZ's having a meltdown, remove him from the narrative. Jane Doe's having a meltdown over Bad Bunny, remove her from the narrative. And the thing that we need to do, the majority of us, which are true patriots, true Americans, not pedophiles, not billionaires, what we need to do is basically make a captured state for MAGA and white Christian nationals. And how do we do a captured state, right? It is not through violence. It's not through even protest. It's through boycotting, and it's through removing them from the narrative and making them all grouped together. I mean, I post whenever I get a MAGA or white Christian national making comments on my threads here on Substack, I post their account and I advocate you all. And you can go back and look and you can block those people, because the more that we on this side block the pedophile supporting MAGA immigrant, against the immigrants, against foreign language people and white Christian national, it's really hard to come up with just one word, but maybe fascist does encompass all of that. Once we keep blocking them, right, we are corralling them. We're corralling them into their own pen. And that's what they don't like, because they don't like each other. They want to be around us. We must not allow them to have access to us. And we can do that easily on social media. And we can do that easily by not promoting any of their crap on social media. Like, instead of like making a comment about this MAGA person was having a meltdown, instead block them, screenshot their account, post it everywhere on your social so everyone can see, block this person. That's how we remove them from the narrative. And we need to get, I think right now, and we're getting there. We're getting there. Thank you for the hearts, by the way. We are getting there. America needs to become cohesive in this attack. And this is an attack. And it's not with weapons. It's not unaliving anybody. The attack is with our dollars, and our attack is with our attention. And we're removing our attention from any of the MAGA assholes. And we're removing our attention from the white Christian nationals. And we're grouping all these fascist players in their own, we're corralling them. And we're removing them from our narrative. And that is the greatest form of justice, because it just totally irritates the shit out of them. And and it's healthy for us, right? So We need to attack them by removing our attention and removing our dollars. So then we remove our attention, and everyone can do this. This is an easy thing. Um, I'm smiling because I'm getting hearts. So I'm glad you guys, and the more that we talk about this, and the more that we talk about this to other people and say, let's just remove our attention. All right. Is somebody on your account raging about Bad Bunny, about pedophilia, about, pro pedophilia, any kind of fascist, anything that falls under that fascist umbrella? Don't rage back. Block them. Screenshot their account, block them, and then post their account everywhere you're on social, because what happens, it's a ripple effect. Eventually it will get to other people, right? It gets to your people gets it out to other people, and that person keeps getting blocked. So that's how we remove our attention, right? That's easy, right? That's an easy win. Then the next thing we just got to get disciplined that we don't engage, right? Because what they say is infuriating, and that's the point, right? They want to poke us. They want to poke the American side because they know they're the losers. They know they're creepy. And we just aren't giving them access. When we don't give them access and we don't give them our attention, right there, that solves the problem almost 50%. And every single American and patriot on that are, there's like 70% of us. We're much stronger, much more organized, and much more together than the fascist group. And when I say fascist from this going forward, I'm including the MAGA, the White Christian National, the people that are pro-Israel, and the people that are pro-pedophilia. Because as we're seeing, there's a lot of people, 30% of America, that really like pedophilia, which is fucking shocking. Oh, yeah, Stuart, absolutely. We outnumber these people. And so if our first line of attack against them is to remove our attention and our voice because we're going to remove them from our narrative, that's going to be a huge push. And we can get more cohesive in that. So spread the word, tell your friends, don't engage with them. What are we going to do? We're going to screenshot their account. We're going to block them. Then we're going to post their account everywhere we can and say, this is a MAGA. You can go investigate yourself. Please block them. We need to remove the fascists from our narrative. Absolutely, V for Violet. We need to suffocate their rhetoric. And remember, their rhetoric is hate, anti-immigrant, pro-Israel, pro-pedophile, and pro-billionaire. We are suffocating out the worst of the worst. Okay, that's easy, right? There's our first line of attack. Taking off time last week, I had mentioned earlier, there's more people that joined since, but I took off probably about the last 12 days, and my son's birthday, and he was off work for about 3 days, and I just took off myself, and my daughter did, and we all just hung out and had a great time together and lots of joy. And then it took me Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday to re-engage in this muck of fascism. And what I want to say, I love the hearts. Thank you so much. It makes me feel supported, and that other people are joining me in this, right? Because when one bee attacking a human, like one bee comes after you and you can swat it away. But when it's a swarm, You can't swat a swarm away, and we're becoming a swarm. And the hearts and adding to this conversation makes me feel like, yeah, this is real. We are becoming the swarm. And so it did take me 4 days to get back and re-engage. And here's why I knew it was important to get back engaged in the muck, because the only people that are going to save America and save us is our individual selves. And if I'm not engaging, that's one less person that is out there saving America and protecting children and saying we're going to have real democracy and getting rid of white supremacy. Um, I'm really careful about speaking about Black issues. And the reason why is because I very much am white. I very much am privileged. And I know there's just so many different viewpoints that are really upset that community. And my intention is not to upset that community. I want to use my white privilege as much as I can to advocate for that community. And I also know there's limits because I'm white privilege. And so I will never wear the glasses that being in the Black communities, I'll never wear those glasses, and I'll never really know the anger. So I can only do so much. So I'm really careful about crossing over into talking about Black issues. I'm very much against white supremacy, and I'm very much against how our United States of America, long before any of us were born, was founded on white supremacy. And the more that we understand that from an educational point of view, by the way, I loved all those hearts. But the more that we understand that from an educational point of view, the more that we are like, we can champion the rebuilding of America after this fascist regime crumbles, where it's not built on white supremacy. So when I say America was built on white supremacy, 250 years ago, this experiment started. And 250 years ago, the South was holding us hostage. The South could not be profitable without slavery. And they refused to sign the Constitution if slavery was removed, which is what the North wanted to do. Now, I'm not saying the North was all, oh, kumbaya, so great. I mean, there were Northerners that owned slaves. And like we know, Hamilton, as much as he was a champion for anti-slavery, he did have slaves at one point or another. So, I mean, that was also the time, the culture. I'm not saying there's ever a good time to own a human being. I'm just saying that, yeah, oh, well, Jefferson, he was the Southerner, though. Misuse. Jefferson was a Southerner, right? He grew cotton, he grew tobacco. He definitely did not want to let go of his slaves. I mean, he was one of the, we're not going to sign the Constitution unless you keep slavery in there. And of course they did the politician kind of thing, right? Where that's where the Electoral College rose. That's why the Electoral College needs to go away. That's how Trump got elected in 2026. That's how George Bush Jr. got elected. Because the corrupt Electoral College elected him, not the American people. And so the Electoral College needs to go away. But all of these organizations are already crumbling and falling. Absolutely. V for Violet. I believe that too. I believe we need Black people in charge because they, uh, even where I'm standing, I anything I do, if I was in charge, if I was president, I would still do things that were against Black people because I wouldn't have awareness that that's actually against Black people because I've still got my white goggles on. There's no way for me to fully remove my white goggles. And so I believe having Black people in charge, people of color in charge and elected and representing my favorite representative is my Republican, I mean my not Republican, sorry. My House of Representative Joe Nagise, and he's a man of color and he's amazing. And I voted for him. And yeah, I think the more people that are in color of color that are voted to be our voice, the more balance we'll have. And white people will start seeing where they are being prejudiced. I know I'm prejudiced in some ways just because I just don't have the I don't have the view. And I'm very open to having the view that, oh, I need to change that. I mean, like when I learn stuff, I change it. That is true, misuse. Darker skin doesn't equal that. But I think there are a lot. So, I mean, we still can't just say, oh, dark skin, check the box. We're voting for you. Um, we still have to vet and we still have to use our reasoning and our civic responsibility. I'm not saying we throw that out the door at all. I'm just saying that I think the more integrated we have of more color in leadership, the stronger America will be, including immigrants. We need immigrants in representation because, like, I love Ro Khan. He's an Indian, right? And he's a man of he's got dark skin. I also like yes, I mean that's we have to be engaged in vetting extremely. Um and then that's not like another bridge we need to cross, right? Um but I like one of the things that I learned many years ago before COVID, I was in Charleston, and we did a tour in Charleston, and my late husband's family lives in the South, and that's how come we ended up in Charleston. But and Charleston is a beautiful city, but it just made me completely sick because it's so built on the slaves' backs. And one of the things that I learned in the tour guide said that, you know, we're trying to educate people in slavery language and what to remove. And one of the slavery languages was master bedroom, master bath, because that came from slaves calling their owners master. So that was their master bedroom and the master bath. And so they were saying, you know, instead of saying that, what we need to educate ourselves on and start saying is owner bathroom, owner bedroom. And I've removed that from my vocabulary. My children have removed that from their vocabulary. But it's things like that that we need to become aware of that is so ingrained in our culture because America was built on slavery that we need to get nuanced in removing white supremacy, right? Because calling an owner bedroom a master bedroom is continuing white supremacy, right? So we have to get nuanced. And it's going to take a lot of work, and we need to be in it to do it. And that's why I think it's so important that I engage back in the muck. You guys aren't the muck. I'm talking about the fascist regime being the muck. Yeah. Yeah. And like the IRS, right? You go and look at any of their forms. Like I was looking at one of the forms where immigrants can get a um, taxpayer ID number, and it says on there, um, it doesn't say immigrant. It says, the word radical just stuck in my head, and that's not what I'm wanting. Um, what are what's the fascist regime calling them? Oh yeah, primary too. Owner bedroom, bathroom, primary bedroom, bathroom. They call them aliens. That's it. So even, I mean, on the IRS forms, they're saying alien. I, no, they're not aliens. The fascist regime are aliens. These billionaire pedophiles are aliens, but the immigrants are not aliens. And we need to get that language out. And when this fascist regime falls, that's one of the things. We want the alien language fucking retired forever. And then when we rebuild our structures and our organizations that have fallen, I mean, it really took something like this to destroy these agencies so that we can destroy white supremacy and we can rebuild it without white supremacy. Um, so I'm actually not sad about it. It's just painful process, right? It's really a painful process. And a lot of people get hurt in the process. And I just don't know if there's a way around that. But so I'm gonna have to get off of here pretty soon, but because I gotta take my son to work. But I'm gonna get back on this afternoon. Um, if anybody has a specific time that's better, I was thinking like around dinner time, like um 5 to 7. I was thinking about getting back on. Um and having more of a discussion. But really what I wanted to talk about was our attack, right? Two attacks. We need to attack with two ways, right? First one, remove our attention and put all these MAGA fascist people, corral them out of our narrative, right? And we've already talked about that. Somebody's talking shit on your profile, screenshot their account, block them, and then post their account everywhere. Let people investigate them if they want, but ask everyone to block them because they are MAGA. Oh, okay, Peter. What's the name of your podcast? Yeah, I do too, misuse. Race. I really don't like that for humans as well. Race, um, alien, no, we need new vernacular. And we all can make that happen. Um, Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I'm gonna get back on around 5 o'clock mountain time tonight. Um, and then what's the second thing we can do? The second thing we can do is remove our dollars from this economy. But really specifically, let's remove our dollars from Republican MAGA owned businesses. I'm actually going to post here today. I have a whole spreadsheet, but it's for Northern Colorado only. But your communities, if you don't have it, step in and make it. Where they made a list of all the businesses to boycott that are MAGA, fascist, white Christian national, under that umbrella, owned. And then they had they're on the spreadsheet. This person that made it, she did a wonderful job. She also put links to how you can verify that. And so every community needs to have that. And every community needs to be boycotting these MAGA Republican businesses. That's number 2. Now, this would probably be like 2A. Um, Boycott the billionaire pedophile businesses. And this is a big one because they're ingrained in our society, which is disgusting, right? So we've got to boycott Apple. And that's a hard one. I'm on an Apple phone talking to you right now. It's a hard one, right? I'm investigating that. Um, if anyone has ideas, let me know. One of the ways that I've thought about for ditching Apple, I still have my iPad, right? So that's an easy one to ditch. I can go to a different one. But the thing that I don't want to do is I don't want to just move to Samsung that's on Google because Google's also a bad player. He's in the guy that started Google. He's in the Epstein files. Tim Cook has been kissing up. I don't know if he's in the Epstein files, but he's definitely been in bed with this fascist regime extremely. He was the first one to change on the Apple platform, Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America. It's disgusting. I mean, no, no. I have thought about getting an older Apple and then I can remove the iOS and put a Linux operating system on it. I know that's available. Moving my service off of AT&T. That's also getting rid of, not supporting the pedophile billionaires. Getting off of Meta, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, all of those. Is Lemonade. I think Lemonade's under Meta. Um, all of those are billionaire pedophile owned. Mark Zuckerberg is all over those files, and we've known it for a long time. It came out in 2016, and there's been a whole cover up. I mean, we don't need to get into that. We already know, but Mark Zuckerberg is a pedophile, disgusting creep. Um, Larry Ellison, who took over TikTok. Yep, he is all over the files, and that's not a shocker, right? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna post the Fort Collins, Northern Colorado list of businesses, but I'll also post all of this and then what I'm doing, right? Spotify, that guy is pro-Israel and he is pro-ICE. I don't know if he's in the Epstein files yet, but that's enough to get off of Spotify. Of course, we know the Home Depots, Walmart, Targets. We should be boycotting Target. I go by Target and I still see it full and it makes me sick. Just remember, every time you buy something, Amazon, all these subscription services need to be cut. I mean, subscription services are appropriate in some avenues. If you're in a coaching situation, I believe subscription services are beneficial. But the rest of the places, they're not. All these subscription services now have ads. They're just like network TV, which is the whole reason we went to streaming, was to get away from network TV. And now they're just like network TV and worse. And every dollar you give to these people, you're saying, I support you in raping children, in murdering children. We are understanding from the Epstein files that many of these billionaire pedophiles also murdered children. We know Trump most likely murdered children. Elon Musk, I mean, he's a no-brainer to be putting the screws to. I just don't think we've done enough. Um, but getting, all his businesses need to be bankrupt. Now, you notice what's happening, right? Yeah, I mean, like Tubby supports Fox News. Yeah, can't. You got to stop it, right? Even where it's painful, right? I'm moving right now, all of my um documents from um Google over to Proton. And I love Proton. Here's the thing, right? These places that we're moving to aren't free, right? Because the billionaires knew if we give them technology free, we'll lock them in and then we can mine all their data. And so it really wasn't free, right? Google's really not free. None of these social media platforms are really free. I know. It's interesting that people aren't as willing to go to bat for children as they are for Jimmy Kimmel. It's astonishing to me. It's astonishing to me that people are still wanting evidence. It's like, what are you why are you supporting these billionaires? Why it's so ingrained in our culture to protect these billionaires because they knew they were bad news, right? I mean, I follow several economists that for 11 years now have been sounding the alarm that billionaires are a cancer in our society. It's bad, it's bad, it's bad. And it's like people supporting these billionaires is beyond me. And I'm also talking about supporting their circle. I am not down with Melinda, Gates's um, redemption tour that she's doing, and I've written about that, and, I'm not saying she needs to go to jail. I'm not saying that. But I am saying she's one of the most connected women, and she has she has an amazing amount of resources, and she's doing a redemption tour for herself. To me, that even signals more guilt that she knew Gates was fucking little girls and didn't do anything about it except remove herself from the muck. I'm using that word muck because it came from her, where she's like, no, that muck is behind me. Really? Is that muck behind the survivors? Is the muck behind the children that your ex-husband raped when you were married and did nothing about? I found her very disingenuous. I listened to it on NPR. I watched several of her um, talks. I mean, several of her interviews that were live. And it just got me more and more angry because it's like, no, you know what? Instead of protecting your own reputation and the Gates Foundation reputation that needs to be completely destroyed, you need to be out there saying, hey, these girls were raped, and now I'm going to be a voice for it. And we need to be talking about this, and we need to be putting our money to helping these people get back on their feet. Because, these people that got raped, because it was boys too, the trauma from that causes them to not, to be neurodivergent, to be dysregulated to the point that they can't work, that they can't live a very productive life. And Melinda Gates needs to be coming in and paying all those people, and so do all the other ones. And instead, she's doing a redemption tour for her name. I found it incredibly disgusting. Um, Hillary Clinton too. Now, I think Bill Clinton's guilty. I want to hear what he has to say, but I think he's guilty. He comes from where I lived, where I grew up, and he raped brutally 2 young girls that were staffers when he was running for governor. He's always been a rapist and a sexholic. And so do I think he was going over for philanthropy to Jeffrey Epstein's Isle? Fuck no. I think he was going over there and fucking little girls. And I'm not okay with that. And Hillary Clinton, you got billions. You still need to start paying these. You need to make retribution to all these girls and these boys. Um, of course, Elon Musk, I mean, all his money is our money. And he's disgusting. If you're using Gork, don't. You're supporting a pedophile. And you're supporting a software that takes pictures of girls and makes them naked. It's disgusting. And it's disgusting the people that I find out that's using Gork. It's like, that's supporting a pedophile. That's disgusting. I'm just I continue to be astonished, not actually by the crimes, but by the people that want to cover up the crimes and the people that are kind of like, oh, well, that happened like what, 10 years ago? It's like, really? That's what you have to say about it? It's shocking. And it's shocking that so many people don't want to bring billionaires to justice. Now, other countries are like, I love France coming down on Elon Musk. They are showing us, come on, America, you have no choice. You come down on these fucking billionaires. And Elon Musk is the worst. Trump is the worst. I mean, they're the top of the food chain and they need to be toppled. And when I say toppled, I don't mean killed. I mean, they need to be removed from any influence. They need to be jailed and they need to be tried. Now, both of them have committed international war crimes and they need to be tried on the international war crime courts. But all of their money needs to go back into the American pocket and pay down our deficit. That's Elon Musk and Trump has stolen our money and increased our deficit, and their money they should not have a cent to their name. And yeah, yeah. And I'm really hoping the monarchy is going to fall because of this. Because there's just too much pressure. I mean, the monarchy thought, "Oh, we'll just take his crown away, and then we'll put Andrew out really far away so no one sees him." But, he's kind of a dumbass. I mean, he rides his horses in public areas and shit, and it's like, that's because he feels immune, right? These billionaires have felt immune to purchasing a child from Jeffrey Epstein, holding her down, ripping her panties off, getting their penises hard, shoving them into her vagina without her consent, and holding their hands across their mouth while she screamed, why they fucked her. And I'm being graphic because we need to hear the graphic side of it, because the word pedophile is starting to get like immune to it. Like, oh, it doesn't really mean what it means. And we need to hear what it means. And there's that graphic verbiage that I just used comes directly from the Epstein files, comes directly from some of the victims. One of the victims, forgetting her name, but who was raped by Trump, that's exactly what he did to her. And she was 14 years old. I don't care how old these pedophiles are. They need to be in jail, and we need extreme punishment, because we need to set the standard that no more will pedophilia be allowed. Because if we don't do extreme punishment to all of these billionaires, what's going to happen? They're just going to set up shop somewhere else. It won't be an island. Instead, it will be a um, high-rise building that is supposed to be about finance or something. And then you find out that, oh, the office buildings really aren't office buildings, aren't offices. It's just going to replicate somewhere else. So we have to come down hard. The men that have done this, they need to be castrated, and they need a big P branded on their body so that they can never walk away from pedophilia. Because pedophilia is not a crime that can be rehabbed. And the real important thing is we need to send the message, because pedophilia never happens in a silo. There's a whole group of people that support the pedophilia and feed the pedophilia their victims. We need to come down hard on those people too, like the Melinda Gates. Her silence was complicit. I do not think she went to Ellis Island. No, I do not think she was feeding Bill Gates victims. But what did her silence do? Her silence allowed him to rape more children on Epstein Island, because we know he continued going after they divorced. Now, Bill Gates also is so embedded in our food industry, it's disgusting. I have no clue. I don't understand why. He needs to be jailed. And Microsoft needs to go. Microsoft it needs to get under new management. It needs to be reorganized in a way that is not what's happening right now. And the thing about Bill Gates too is that he's trying to say, oh, Jeffrey Epstein just wrote those emails and sent them to himself. So like, in essence, the man who said that his software was never hackable is saying he was hacked. Not buying it, Bill. And he really thinks people are going to buy it, and that's going to be the end of it. It's not. He's also saying that he went over to do software updates on Jeffrey Epstein's island, and he was going there for philanthropy. Really? How do you get a sexually transmitted disease from a software update? Okay, it's 10:25 Mountain Time. I need to get off of here. I need to take my son to work. I so appreciate all of you being on here and all of your comments. Please join me tonight again at 5. I've read all your thank you, Peter. I've seen I agree. Nicole, yes, that's my I think aside from I believe that Trump and Elon, their money needs to go to the American people because it's stolen from us. Government money isn't government money. Government money is our money, right? It's American people's money. And so I believe their money because they've stolen from us. It needs to go to us. But then I think the Trump family's money needs to go to victims because they all need to be wiped out. I mean, like, wiped out financially and jailed because and like what Jared Kushner's trying to do under the guise of peace on the Gaza Strip. Nope, nope, nope. And then we need to get Israel, of course. I mean, there's a lot of steps here and a lot of moving pieces that we're not on yet, right? So we've just got to stay really focused and locked in on the step that we're on and what we can do about it, right? Um, so we also need to remove our labor because this is going to be ongoing for a bit. And um, I want to talk about that more, but you got to be thinking about how to remove your labor from this economy. Um, the job market, if you watch the Super Bowl ads, you pretty much saw the shift. And I want to talk about that too. Okay. Mwah. Have a wonderful Tuesday, and I will see you later this afternoon. Late afternoon for me, maybe early evening for many of you, or early afternoon for some. I will see you then.